These are the systems, softwares, tools, and initiatives that we use to run a $1 million marketing agency. Background on me, I run hazemedia.co. We are a marketing agency that works with e-commerce brands. We've been around for 5 years. Before that, I was freelancing for 4 years. I've been in this game for nearly 10 years of running ads for different businesses. And we do a few different services for our clients: ad creatives, media buying, email and SMS marketing. We have some cool case studies. We work with some great clients, and we have amazing testimonials. We have a real team, real company. We did $1 million last year in revenue, and this is what we use to run the company. So systems and workflows, communication, we keep it super, super simple. Slack and Zoom, okay? No WhatsApp, no Telegram, no Discord, none of that. Of course, we use email for external communication with potential clients, potential team members, potential partners. But once they actually become a team member, a partner, a client, we move them into Slack, right? And then we have video calls on Zoom. This is Zoom, Google Meet, whatever, right? Video conferencing. Therefore, everything stays in the same place. And this is really going to be the theme that you're going to see throughout this video. Project management, docs, SOPs, we try and keep everything as possible inside one place, which is Notion. Notion is great because it's kind of like the all-in-one tool. You can build project management boards, you can store docs, you can store SOPs, you can store ideas, you can track your tasks, to-do lists, all that stuff. So you don't need like a separate CRM and a separate project management tool and Google Docs and, like all these different disjointed tools. We just use Notion and it connects seamlessly with our other tools that we're using. For approvals and file storage, we use Figma and Google Drive. Figma is more for like visual graphic approvals, so email designs, for example. Google Drive is where we store images and videos. It's a much better file storage place. And, it's very cost effective, even when you have tons and tons of files of storage. For insights into a remote team, we're using Yander. This is actually a software that I built after growing my company and realizing that as I continued growing, I was getting less and less of an accurate pulse on my team members. Work quality was dropping. Workload was increasing out of nowhere. We had a lot of problems with the team. And this was because of visibility. Running a remote team, we don't realize, when meetings aren't even going ahead, when employees are burning out, when even employees are doing the bare minimum and they're sort of coasting. You don't always see that, especially if you have leaders in place that you're relying on to feed you back that information. It can also be missed by then. So we use AI and behavioral analysis to connect to the platforms that we already use: Slack, Gmail, Notion, Zoom, Google Meet, and it pulls all the data from there. Not any private surveillance, weird stuff like that. It doesn't record screens. It doesn't track private messages. It's only things that I can actually see myself and my leaders can also see. So Slack channels and groups that we're in, email threads that we're CC'd on, meetings that we're invited to, those sorts of things, okay? And what it allows us to do is it allows us to track all these variables, all these signals, and this platform that we built, it feeds us back the data and the insights that we need to make key decisions. And it also provides us with the analysis of why that score is there. So we can see the risk of people leaving, which is a huge problem at agencies. Churn is a huge thing with team. Now we can prevent our A players from actually leaving the company, which saves us tons of money and time and also protects our client relationships, okay? So this is good for us. It's also good for the team because they can actually be seen for the great work that they're doing and they don't get overloaded with work. Okay? From the team side, like whenever you onboard a client, it's great for you because the company is growing, but it's not always great for them because it just means that more work, right? But if you know their workload and you know what they can manage, then you can work together to handle that. And this software helps highlight it, okay? So if you want to check that out, it's yander.io. We're currently, at the time of recording this, in a waitlist. So yeah, you can come over here, join the waitlist, and I'd be happy to tell you more about how your product works. Now, getting into the key retention levers, this is how we actually keep A players. So of course, competitive market-based pay. You can't skimp out on pay, guys. Like if you're not paying, I would say like at least 10% above market rate for the location that your team is in, then you're at risk of losing those team members to somebody else who will pay that, okay? Now, another thing, we have a worldwide talent pool, although there's countries that we don't hire from because of time zones, and we work with mainly US clients. So a lot of our team is in South America, but we also have a lot of team members in the UK and Europe as well. And, we just found over the years that hiring from some countries is more cost effective than others. Of course, we have a lot of team members in Colombia, Brazil, and it's more cost effective to hire there, but the talent you can get is amazing, right? And I've done this since the beginning of my agency. I've been hiring in countries where it's cheaper. And because we're a remote team and because we don't need people in a specific country in a physical office, this is the advantage that we have over other companies. It allows us to have better margin, okay? Now, that is hard to do. If you want me to create a video on actually finding great talent in these countries, let me know and I'd be happy to record that for you. Next thing is monthly one-to-ones, focus on goals and support. So I have a monthly one-to-one with every single person on my team who is full-time, okay? We don't have a huge team, But if you have 50 team members and you're spending 25 hours on monthly one-to-ones, it's probably not the best use of your time. Therefore, you can get your leaders to do these for you. However, when you have a small team, 10 people, 15 people, whatever it is, you can have these monthly one-to-ones. You can take the time out of your month to do it. And trust me, it is so, so appreciated. It allows you to keep a pulse on your team members. Yeah, I would recommend this for sure. I figure out what each person on my team wants to achieve in life, in their professional life, personal life, and then I reverse engineer that process for them at this company, which leads me into the second one, clear compensation roadmaps for each role, which show each individual person on a full-time role at my company, here is exactly how you can earn more money. And this is exactly what that earning is going to be. And we tie it to KPIs so that they don't just get paid more for staying at the company. That's a mistake we've made in the past, by the way. It's not all sunshine and rainbows over here. Trust me, we've made a lot of mistakes. However, your compensation roadmaps should be, okay, if you achieve these KPIs over this quarter, this is the bonus you're going to get. And if you hit KPIs over 2 quarters, then you're going to get a 3% increase to your base salary or whatever percentage you want to give out. Now, hardly any company does this. And what that means is that it makes your company very different and they can see how they can grow in your company, which means they're not looking elsewhere, right? Of course, if they're not overloaded in work and the work-life balance is good and it's a good culture, so it's a thriving winner's environment, that's how you're going to keep your A players, right? You're going to give them clear roadmaps. It's like, hey, if you want to grow here, this is how you grow. And if you have true A players, trust me, they don't mind taking on some risk, right, with their role. Of course, they want stability, right, which you provide them with a base salary, but you can allow them to take on a little bit of risk as well. Say, hey, if you perform and our clients get better results, or we deliver, X KPI, which is tied directly to client performance and client retention for your agency, that happens, we will pay you more, okay? And especially in people who are like performance-based roles, this works incredibly well, okay? And then finally, annual in-person team trip offsite. Just for the full-time team members, we do an annual in-person team trip. It's a few days, and this is amazing, and I think it's a must with a remote team because you don't get the in-office vibes and team building and cohesion that you would with an office, right? With a remote team, people are just talking to each other on Zoom, on Slack. It's not the same, trust me. When you see someone in person that you're working with, you can build a relationship with them, you can share memories with them. When you go back to working the week after that trip is finished, it's completely different, right? Now you know that you can trust that person more. Now you know that you can have difficult conversations and they won't take it the wrong way. Now you know that you're in this together and it's a aligned mission, right? And it's a great opportunity for you as a leader to bring your team together in person in the right place and set the expectations again. Remind them of your values, remind them of the culture that you have, remind them of what you are aiming towards as a company, where we are all going together if we do these things, okay? So I'll leave you with that. This is what we do at my company. We do have a few more things with regards to, very, very specific details. If you want me to go further into this stuff, structure, processes, team related insights, let me know and I'll be happy to do that. If you want to try out Yander.io when it launches soon, then go over to Yander.io and join the waitlist and I'll tell you a little bit more about how exactly it works and also if it's a good fit for your agency. All right, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.